Hey folks, thanks for tuning in to my Jigsaw discussion. I chose for data collection the checklists, um, answering these questions that we all had to answer, going through describing the technique, how the processes are unique. Is it qualitative, quantitative, some strengths and weaknesses, and then concerns that I would have about this data collection technique. So checklist, as it seems, is actually quite simple, which there can be beauty in simplicity, but it's basically, to describe it, you have a list of either behaviors, characteristics, skills, or any other entities or things that you would like to see happening that a researcher is going to be interested in figuring out. Figured this was more of a quantitative type of data based on what you do with the data afterwards. And what you're looking for is really manageable amounts of things to look for. If you have too much stuff, you'll really get overwhelmed trying to get too much information, depending on your frame of reference going into this data collection. And thinking about it in chunks of behaviors or characteristics could also help. So how's this process different than others? This one is very simple in terms of looking for a yes or no. So it's dichotomous. Did I see that behavior? Did I not see that behavior? And it sounds like it could be similar to a continuum. Like I know there were some scales, and in surveys you could ask, like, on a scale of 1 to 5, how did you feel, or how did you feel you did? This is not that. Okay, it is very specific. So it is detailed. It can get more specific in the focus of what specific actions are you looking for, or it's really the work done before you're doing your checklist of maybe more specific behaviors or skills or characteristics. But just a quick example, like student uses calculator, yes or no. So the data that you're gathering is not, it's very far from qualitative, but you're just describing it was or was not there. So an example of a checklist, one that I pulled from Mertler was the student checklist for independent reading at an elementary level. So you have whatever trait you're looking for, and was it observed or was it not observed? And it's very simple: check yes, check no. And then another example from the other resource was actually pulled from another resource noted down here, but indicating yes or no. Did they participate in the discussion? Did they work cooperatively? So like it's very pretty basic, pretty standard. This would actually fall under quantitative data, because you can take data, yes or no, and then you can organize very quickly. If you saw that, like if you're creating some sort of lesson that should engage in discussion or group work, or even procedural things such as staying on task, or was distracted, was not distracted, depending on your framing, yes or no. So the type of data is very, very simple. So it's very quick to organize. And then questions that this type of data would answer would be very basic yes or no questions, and student behavior related, anything that you would end up seeing. You could represent these in circle graphs, or just looking at percentages. This many students did, this many students did not. So it's very one or the other. For example, 10% of students reference their directions when stuck during the lab. So I've done this before, where I'm looking out, I'm seeing, what are students doing, what are their behaviors, kind of doing a mental checklist. I haven't made an actual checklist, but I feel like we kind of do this already. But this would be definitely more formal and reportable type of data. It's the type of data that, okay, I wanted kids to, ask questions if they have questions, but I want them to reference their want them to access their very detailed lab directions, and if they do not and they ask me questions before they reference that, that's a similar thing. That this might be, question that might be answering. Or am I getting the results of what I'm asking my students to do? Strengths and weaknesses. For our strengths, it's very simple. Simplicity is very key here. Ease of documentation and quick summary. So as a teacher, if you're observing many students, this might be a strength where you could observe plenty of kids doing a bunch of stuff, or even if you single out a group of kids or target students that you're looking for. But I really find the usefulness with others, and I know in our research and readings, triangulation and having other sets of data, qualitative, quantitative, they have their strengths and weaknesses. This would be a quick one and a pretty basic one, but you could find substantial results when you're looking at other data too. It's like, well, if I'm looking at this qualitative study of different reactions or different responses, then maybe they weren't checking those boxes of, were they doing this behavior or did they learn this skill? So it could be very helpful and quick data that you can get. So that kind of goes with some of the weaknesses that I listed. It's not as detailed. So you would need some triangulation. You would need some help there. And it can be very singularly focused. Now this kind of depends on how detailed your checklists are. But other weaknesses specific to very certain things, and it's really no place for descriptions. I mean, I guess depending on your idea and your take on what am I looking for, it could depend on how descriptive it is, but still the answer you're getting from this is either yes or no. Any concerns I had about the validity, I said maybe. And it depends on, again, how descriptive or specific are you making that criteria. And it could benefit from triangulation. So I think alone, the validity is a maybe based on what purpose is your research. The validity of the data is very concrete, like yes or no, which kind of ties into reliability. It's clear. Did the behavior happen or did it not happen? And it gets into a gray area when you talk about things that are hard to quantitatively identify, as far as like thinking. Like you can't always see that, so you need a representation of, the kid's eyes might be open, but it's in one ear out the other. So definitely need some additional testing. And then for ethics, I don't think so. Specific students, you could use some anonymity there. Or, if you need specific students, then it would be a very simple thing to do to make sure that you're, using some sort of alternate name or code or something similar there. And my references could not find specifically from Ertler, but referencing our text and others. Thanks. If you have any questions, let me know.